what's up, everybody? It is B the Installer. I am going to be joined by Stop the FOMO and Keep It Classy Tech in a moment. We are just getting all situated and getting on the computers, and we're going to go over some issues and some highs and lows from the big TVs that people are getting, and talking about what to expect when they get them, and kind of the availability and what things are going to be, buying decisions, whether or not you need to buy 4th of July or obviously Black Friday versus the availability and everything else. So it's good to see everyone here. I hope I sound all right. Obviously, with other people on here, can't do a mic check, so let me know how I sound. There people can see me at least. That's good to know. Just got back from the beach. Rough day at the beach with my family, in-laws. So I posted on Instagram. We're sitting there boogie boarding and chilling at the beach. So let me get this open. But yeah, we're going to have a couple guests in just a second. So let me open this up. Oh, got this on. Here we go. Mute that. There we go. Oh, that might be good to get my mic ready. Sorry about that. Can you hear me better now, guys? Didn't even have my microphone sitting here. Hilarious. So when you do a mic check, maybe you should, maybe when you do a mic check, you should have the actual mic in front of you. That might be good. Sounds better now, I'm sure. All right, give me a second. So I was going to share, funny enough, my my A90J. I'm sure maybe some of you guys have seen the A90J. We got delivery of two. One for myself and one for FOMO, and that did not go good. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you the pictures of what happened in shipping and transit, because they did not arrive in good condition. Put it that way. What's up, Dave? What's up, everyone? Ian, what's up, Ian? The legend himself. Sorry, I'm a little sweaty. It's hot in here. I got to drink some water. Nothing like dead air on a Wednesday. Yeah, that was funny. My wife made it's not the first time she's been in a video, but people were very nice and receptive to my wife being in the video. It's pretty funny. She upped the production value of my video, to say the least. So yeah, she's awesome. Jen is her name, and she has a YouTube channel. It's a very small. She just started it, but she's a like nutrition coach. So she is quite motivational. When you show pictures, make sure not to disclose personal info. Yeah, I know. On the side of the box, it has some scratched out stuff, but yeah. The TV. So far, we haven't gotten a ton of use out of the A90J 83-inch because we have family in town. So I know that's disappointing because, obviously I want to just be sitting in front of the TV and watching it full time right now, but you know how it is in the summer. Got family in town. We're moving around. But I have to say it's pretty awesome. It's I have the 65-inch A90J, so I kind of knew what it was about. But man, it is a badass TV, especially in that size. It's huge. We still have it on that crappy table, but I'm going to wall mount it soon. But this weekend, I'm going to be doing like a settings HDR video showing like footage of the TV with all the different settings on. So that should be cool. Armadillo, new sub here. About to christen the new house with a A80J 77-inch, thanks to B and friends. So that's awesome. I hope that we help. That's the whole point. So yeah, I'm gonna do it. So anyways, what's up, Rainer? Appreciate it. Hope's all is well in Germany. What city are you in? I forget. Is it Dusseldorf? Is that how you say it? Dusseldorf? I hope I didn't say that wrong. I forgot what city he's in, but my wife was asking because we want to visit, man. Family first. People can wait. That's cool. I appreciate it. Oh, you know what? I got to make sure FOMO's not coming. Here he is. Not yet. Couple minutes. He'll be here. Let's see here. Also, Don B, what's up? The A80J installation video. Let's see. Was that one of two things that happened in shipping damage? No. In your installation video. No. That was an older TV. The install video was a 65 that I got. And that had uniformity. And that's another thing. Classy's going to come on and talk about, how to get rid of the uniformity issues, because a lot of people are complaining that all the OLEDs are showing up with banding. That's just, then you got to send the TV back. But, there is a way to check it out. I've done it with the C1. He's done it now with the G1. And I actually did it with this 83-inch TV as well. And we'll talk about that more in a minute. I have, this TV's got good uniformity. I know some people had an 83-inch that had some uniformity. But I didn't have any issue. There's a little, if you look really close on like a 5% grayscale, you can see a little bit of banding on pretty much any OLED. But I did a pixel refresh, which is the secret. So now I've given it up, but it worked out. Looks good. So that helped. Someone had a question real quick while we're waiting for FOMO and them about the QN90A versus the X950H. And that's a pretty easy one. I guess if you want to talk about like which is a better TV, I think that the QN90A is better, but because it has a lot more dimming zones, and I think they're going to work it out and get that going to be a better algorithm, because it still has a little bit of blooming, but not nearly as much as the 950H. The 950H I think only has like 32 dimming zones. So you're talking about like 800 dimming zones versus 32. I would take the QN90A, but if people are asking me what they would want for a deal, then I would say if you get the X950H, it's a good deal. And I think it looks great in a bright room. It's just more when you watch HDR movies, like if they have the widescreen, that's the only time when really you like are concerned about it. For the most part, I think that TV looks fantastic. So no. All right. So yeah, Rainer, let's see what's up. I wanted to check this out. Long time I lived in Düsseldorf. Now I'm in Essen. Essen, I hope I'm saying that right, which is very close to Düsseldorf. We're about the same size. Greetings to Jen. I like her channel. Awesome. Good deal. Good deal. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to see where Mr. Stop the FOMO is. But let me know if you guys have any questions. Now's a good time to ask questions. And I'll show you some pictures of my I'll show you pictures of the A90J quick. I wanted to wait to make sure that like the most amount of people are on here, but we can always we can show some of the pictures in a minute. But let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up these pictures. There we go. Share screen. Here we go. Window. Okay. So as you can see, let me make sure you guys can see what I'm seeing. There we go. I'm going to take this off, Rainer. Thanks, man. And real quick, what's up? My Gadget World Mike's here, watching from the office. Got the worst banding on my C10 77-inch. Pixel refresh couldn't solve that problem. Might need warranty help. Yeah, I mean, if you have banding or it's gotten worse since you got the TV, of course, it may be a problem. But if you have it, if it's new, a new TV with a little bit of grid banding, you can try that pixel refresh. Yeah. So I appreciate that. All right. So let me pull this comment off. We'll go full. Oh, that's fine right there. So this is how the box looked when I got it. So this is the back of the TV of, this is a $16,000 package that we got. And it looked like this. So obviously I opened it up further to see what was up, and something got all the way in to the box to damage. Oh, here we go. Oh, hold on. And scratch the back of the TV. Now, if that's all it was, probably wouldn't cause a big fuss, right? So a little bit annoying. I don't think that kind of scratch damaged the TV. The TV turned on, but this is what the package looked like. So if you look on the left side, you can see there's another damaged area midway up the TV on the left side, which actually made its way into my unboxing video, because I unboxed the first half of the TV, the one that was damaged, and the second half, the one that wasn't damaged. So good production tricks to make it work out for you guys, so no one noticed. But you can see in the middle of the side, also in the middle of the screen, you can see there's another dent. So both of those were problematic and not awesome. I was really upset. But what are you going to do? So then we go further. So yeah, the cosmetic problem, not a big deal on the back. This is the top of the box. So obviously there was pressure put down on the box as well, because you can see that the box popped out. So the box to pop out like that, you would have to break the styrofoam, which it did on one of the TVs. That's the salvageable TV, the one that was broken. So this is on both sides of this package of two $8,000 TVs. It was treated like crap. And this was, let me show you this. Oh, that's not it. Now we're going the wrong way. Hold on. It's a problem with these when I don't have them. Oops, now I just turned it off. Back to my, give me 1 second. I'll open that back up. All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. What's up? How's it going, bud?
Hey, man, internet connection issues. You know what? I didn't find your StreamYard link in Twitter. He emailed me, so I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, you know what? No, that's my bad. I always keep changing it. From now on, I just have to email you. I'll send it to Twitter or something.
No, that's fine.
Anyways, how's it going, Mr. Stop the FOMO? What's going on, man?
Oh, it's been a busy day. Busy day. I'm just so much to do, getting lots of stuff happening. I mean, I met with the electrician. I had to add more outlets to my ceiling because I'm doing a home theater setup where the Atmos ceiling are active speakers. And so I need power. So I have to run outlets on the ceiling. And I don't want to run long power cords all the way down. I'd rather keep everything up there. So, I have to do with electricians. That's going to be a while. But, you got to do what you got to do. I can see why people don't like ceiling speakers.
Yeah, I mean, just in general, like running wire and all that is problematic. Whether it be wires or power or whatever. Power is actually even harder than wires. Like wires, I can just, power, you have to have a junction box and then bring an outlet out from the junction box and make sure it's all up to code. Speaker wire is much easier, but still.
That's exactly what he did. That's it. Can bring up a junction. And I told him, look, I don't care about exposed cabling. Just get it up there. Don't hide it because, it's going to be dark anyway, right? I'm going to paint over it. But so it was kind of cool talking to the guy because he did all of my electrical stuff for the home theater anyway. So I have more than enough amps to handle it, but definitely,
So I want to show this. I was in the middle of showing these and then I dropped it. So this is the end of the package, guys, where so what happened here was this is a fork from the forklift went straight into the box and lifted up. So I don't know if it was an accident or they lifted it up, to try to move this package thinking maybe it was light. So they're like, I can just touch it with the fork, lift up, and we'll just move this box over to sit it in the corner or whatever. But they didn't think about how this could, damage the product inside. And so let me go to this way, I think. And so that's another picture of the same thing. And that's what it looks like from further apart. So, obviously the product damage on the backside would be one thing if it just had a scratch. But this was a problem because now let me go back to the other pictures because I showed you this is what happened. That one's that's not as focused, unfortunately, but that is a dent in the side of the metal. So not good.
Did it crack the glass at all? Do you see any chipped glass? I mean, obviously you wouldn't keep it, but still.
No. So what I did is I turned on the TV and that startup screen, it's all black except for like it says USA, Canada, whatever. And I didn't further the menu to see if it was cracked because I knew it didn't matter because we're not keeping this TV because I asked FOMO which one of us is going to take the broken TV, and it was like a joke. I'm like, neither one of us wants a TV that's starting off with a scratch, with a big crack in the side of it. So
we'd have FOMO for the rest of our days.
I would never do that. I would never do that for a client. It's just not worth it. This is I'm not sharing that one. I keep forgetting to, instead of closing the picture, I have to just do this. So this is the top. So if you look at this picture, you can see that there was like pressure. There's forks on top of this. Those are the two marks on this are spaced out exact distance of a forklift. So I don't know if these people were just mad because they knew these were Sony TVs and they're like, I'm going to screw these guys' TVs up because I don't like working in a warehouse or what. But I mean, you can see they push down on these to the point where, let me see if I have this picture. I don't think I have the picture, just weird pictures of me. And then obviously, so right here, we open this box up. If you see in the unboxing video, when I open it up, this is actually cracked. The styrofoam on the back is completely cracked. Luckily, the panel was under the piece of styrofoam that remained in place. So, but there was enough pressure put on the top of this box that it damaged. There's no damage to the TV physically, but the company that I bought it from offered me a 5-year warranty just to double check that it's not going to cause them. I paid a couple $100, but they gave me the cost of the warranty. And so the TV's warranted for 5 years now. And, unfortunately, Stop the FOMO is going to have to wait for his TV now because my quality control, it did not pass the quality control check. Let's just put it that way.
And speaking of that, I have to order the mounting because I'm going to wall mount my TV with that mantle mount we talked about.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, you turned out to be an authorized installer of mantle mount because I was asking Brandon, hey, Brandon, have you heard of this? He's like, dude, I'm an authorized installer. Like, yes. Yeah. So if you show off the mantle mount, I love that mantle mount, by the way. I think anyone who is going to spend, I don't know, $6,000 to $8,000 on an 83-inch TV or any large 85-inch TV, right? And you want flexibility in your wall mount, I think this mantle mount thing is genius because it goes vertical and it shifts left and right. But that vertical, I have never found out in any Sanus mount because obviously it's not going to go vertical, but this one does. It'll allow me to review different size TVs, right? I could now have a 85-inch TV below it and then raise it and then it's on top. Or when I'm doing my home cinema reviews, lower it to what comfortable watching height that you normally cannot do with a regular Sanus mount. So let me pull that up. And it's a little on the high end in terms of expense, but if you're paying that much, I think it's the convenience is just awesome for me.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of Mantle Mount. I think that's a great company. I think it's a great product. The only downside to it is that the TVs could sit flatter to the wall, but they have the spine. The spine on that has to be strong because it's sitting there going up and down, so it's got to be a strong product. And it's kind of funny when you mount it, it's hard to install on the wall because you have to first put up the bracket on the wall and then you have to put the arm on it but you have to screw the bolts in. So it's complicated to get the wall plate, and then the bolts that go into that are complicated to get on. And then you have to make sure that there's a stud in the middle of your fireplace or wherever, because if you don't have studs, you can't manipulate that bracket too far left or right. But once you got it on, it's good. And then the funny thing is, then you have to pull the arm down and put a pin in it and hold it down and then mount your TV on it. So it's definitely time consuming. So I'll show you. You'll be like, wow, this is a lot of work, but it's worth it once you get it on the wall.
It's heavy duty, man. It's heavy duty. I'll tell you that. Definitely. And it's not cheap. It's like I think the cheapest one is like maybe $300, and it has a automated electrical, mechanical, hydraulic one that's like maybe like $900. So
yeah, and I haven't even seen that one before.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. You have remote control that automatically goes up and down. Kind of cool because it's lifting like a 125-pound TV up and down. But definitely a cool thing.
Cool. And Classy's going to talk about, whoops. So I pressed that button where it shows all that. There we go. F12 is the button that shows all the code. Whenever I press that, I'm like, oh crap. Now I can't see anything. All right. And make sure if you guys want questions answered, you can super chat. I'm going to answer some questions now. Let me look at the comments here because I was off the comments for a minute. Here we go.
Hey, what's the theme today? I saw your thumbnail. Are we talking about struggles with delivery?
Yeah, struggles with delivery or what to do, what to expect. I think some of the stuff regarding, just in general deliveries, feel free at some point. We're going to talk about kind of the availability and how you're feeling about availability. I know you did some videos ranking TVs and just talking about, what's going on. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so let me give you guys insight. And this is very interesting because some of it is from my video I posted earlier this week about sales, not even a sale, prices going down in Samsung. So apparently Samsung, if you guys have been watching Samsung TV prices because you're interested in buying it, you're like, wait a minute, they've dropped prices yet again. And so they've gone through 3 official price reductions from the corporate side. This is not Best Buy pushing a Prime Day deal. Corporate Samsung is like, we're overpriced, right? So they are globally dropping their prices on their site, telling the retailers to drop the price because they're seeing OLED prices dropping fast as well. And they're like, okay, as good as we are, we claim to be better than OLED, we cannot be charging that much more for our flagship 4K TV. And so the QN90A, I mean, this is unheard of in July, right? Let's say we're in July, but it happened in June. 25% discount from launch already in June. And that's on the 85-inch. And normally the 85-inch is like their big margin. They must put a lot of margin in there. And also it could be that they're preparing for the release of the OD0, right? So the OD0 is coming out in Q3, Q4, and they'll slowly start to march their way down, because that TCL is not going to be selling that TV for the same price as Samsung, obviously. But on the other side, it's the OLED pricing that surprised Samsung. I mean, many of us are actually surprised how quickly the C1 dropped. I mean, they're at what, 2100 now, 2200?
Yeah.
Last year, the C10 was at 2500 for a while. And the Black Friday, then you saw the huge discounts. But now it was already in June, before Prime Day, was at 2100. So, and not to mention last year's TVs, right? The C10 and the A8H from Sony. So there's pricing pressure that's forcing Samsung to price it lower. And then you're all asking, wait a minute, why does Samsung have to do this? They're the number one volume seller, blah, blah, blah. Turns out they're not. They are seeing huge drops in their sales volume in the first 2 quarters. They're adjusting that drop in volume. And it could be because people are buying food instead of TVs, right? So they're trying to get a consistent sales volume into Black Friday. They don't want to rely 100% on Black Friday. They want to get as much of that volume spread out over the years. So for many of you who are waiting until Black Friday, obviously that's the best time. But the deals now, they're not temporary. I think Samsung will continue to discount leading into Black Friday and more. Now, the 83-inch, though, that is a whole different deal. What I'm hearing from the retailers is they're sold out, and Sony is repricing it at the retailer level, saying, man, this thing is selling out, so it's going to cost everyone more down the line. So even though it looks like it costs the same, the retailers are being told, hey, this thing is selling out, and it's not going to cost everyone the same if we have to go through the second or third batch coming out. So those of you who are buying the 83-inch A90J, that price is not going to be discounted, if at all. And if you get any discounts, it's a good discount, most likely. Just make sure it's from an authorized dealer. We have a lot of unauthorized dealers selling, so you're not going to get the same support. But yeah, if anything, this A90J is going to be very price resistant for a while. The C1 83-inch, on the other hand, is a different animal. We may be seeing that one have some good prices. So that's something to think about, is if you really want an 83-inch TV, the C1 may have better discounts over the long run. So just keep that in mind. We're just talking pricing, not picture quality, anything like that. Hey, Classy, welcome.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Just in time.
Good. You could probably turn your mic up a little or bring it a little closer. Maybe I'm not sure if it's super far away, but how's it going, dude? I was just going to get into, I want to have you talk about the uniformity stuff in a second, but let me give you a second to catch up. And I'm going to talk about this question that like Buddy Love has, and I think a couple other people. So, and Damian Jackson mentioned it first too. Okay. So these TVs are expensive. There's no question. Very expensive TVs. Now, there is obviously we got it from a retailer, and I work business to business. So it's not, I didn't get the exact same price everyone's getting, there is some discount available. But obviously with that, I had to get them freight shipped. So you have to balance all these things when buying a TV. There's definitely risk involved with getting a TV. Now, if you buy them from the company like Amazon, they're going to have their typical Amazon drivers, or they'll have, they have incredible logistics, and they're going to get that TV to you. And their goal is to get it without being damaged, of course. And the company that I used, they have to get it by freight. So their only option is to freight ship them on a pallet, and then it's in someone else's hands. And so, obviously we didn't think the TVs would be that damaged. If they had a scuff in them or something. I mean, these TVs are packaged extremely well. And, that the back of the TV can take a little bit of damage because it was 6 inches inside the box, or 4 inches into the box. So you don't expect the TV to get hit and then, get hit that many times. You definitely don't expect a fork to go through the end of a box through 3 inches of styrofoam that I could take 100 punches to the end of that TV, and I would have never done the damage that fork did. So, I mean, I was showing the driver, like I gave it a little cross. There's no way I was making that damage. So of course, the company's taking care of us. The TV wasn't, the speed of delivery wasn't important to us. So that's what you have to think of. Where you're getting it, the type of shipment, and then how fast you need the TV, because that brings me to Cecil. Keep It Classy Tech. He had an option to get the TV slightly discounted, a 77-inch G1, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you had a time constraint. So because of the time constraint, you actually went to Best Buy and you had them deliver it to you. But that always isn't foolproof either, because I've looked in the back of these third-party delivery companies that Best Buy uses, and TVs are laying on the ground like tipped over. So it can happen to anyone. So yes, go into the store and buy it if you can. How many people can fit an 83-inch TV? How many people can fit two 83-inch TVs in the back of your car? I could have fit them on my truck, but I have to hold them in a certain way. I did that TCL on a pallet, but it's not always logical. Maybe I should have gone to Arizona and got these TVs myself. Maybe that would have been a better idea. I could have spent 12 hours just drive there and drive back. And I don't think it would have cost less than the $200 that we got them shipped. Maybe I should have just offered to pay more for shipping and had them done from a better shipper. But anyways, Classy, what about you? How did your TV arrive, and what have you done since?
All right. Well, so I'm having a big family thing on the 4th. So that was my deadline. I had to have something ready to go. So technically I wanted to have it at least a week before then, just to check it out, make sure there's no problems. Because if there is, then it would have to go through an exchange, and then it would end up where there's no TV here on the 4th. So luckily, the one that I got, like I showed in my video, out of the box looked atrocious, but the pixel refresher, a few hours of HDR content cleaned it up, and it's actually one of the cleanest panels I've seen this year. There's very, very minimal pink tint at all. So
is this the 77-inch?
Yeah. Yep. The 65 I had like the quarter left of the screen always had noticeable pink tint. So the 77, you can't really see it anywhere. Even on pure white, it's just very faintly there. So I lucked out on that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I had that happen on my 65 too. The left side, well, that was just like, it was a different color. It was a different color. And I didn't do the pixel refresh, but go ahead. I should have probably, but anyways.
Yeah. And then the only other issue I ran into was, so I decided I was going to pull the whole entertainment stand out. I disconnected every device, every wire, just reran everything, vacuumed back there, zip tied all the wires together. So all the audio cables are together, all the network cables are together, and all of that. Go to put the TV up, and it's like, why is it not hooking onto the mount? Because it was the bottom of it was hitting the center channel speaker that's on the entertainment stand. So LG puts their VESA mounts really low on the G1 on the 77-inch. So where my mount is now is where it was for the 85-inch X900H, and it has adjustability, but I completely maxed it out, and it was still sitting too low. So I had to remove the center channel, move it down a shelf, so now it's really low, and I have to angle it upwards. And it's just something to think about if you already have a mount and you're not doing fresh measurements. Take the time and do those measurements.
Yeah, because the G1 actually has the mount, the holes are actually high, which makes the TV sit lower. Because on most OLEDs, they have the pattern is low because it's on the actual physical part of the TV, where the top, they don't have hooks. They don't have hooks on just the panel on the top. So the holes on most OLEDs are lower, which makes them go higher. And I actually have the same problem. I have a 55-inch Vizio that we're moving for now, the 65-inch C10, and those holes on the C10 are even lower than the Vizio, but that TV's 5 inches bigger. So now I already have the Vizio bottom exactly where I needed it, because the bottom was what was important for being above the kids' dressers. Well, now if I was just to put this TV where that one was, the bottom would be 3 inches higher, plus it would be 5 inches taller. So that's an 8-inch difference of where the top of the TV is for the kids. So I'm going to have to lower that mount 3 to 5 inches and do all the math to make it work better. So yeah, that's definitely problematic and interesting. So go ahead.
I meant to say the Sonys have lower VESA mounts than the LGs. So that's where the LG is sitting too low. And now the question is, do I just leave it where it is, not put more holes in the wall because of that wood paneling on my wall? Because it's actually perfect eye level where it's at. So I can leave the center channel down a shelf, And then I got the PS5 coming Friday. Put that on the top shelf with the Blu-ray player, and I think it'll be good. I just need to find something to put above the TV to fill that void.
Yeah, no, I talked to you about this. Like I would say, you could raise it up a little. I kind of like the idea of having a speaker back where it was, but that's your call because, you can always just put wood putty back in the holes, but it depends on how many holes you want to make in the wall. It's always an issue. As people ask me that question a lot. And a lot of people just say, is the TV going to fit where the other one was? And I always tell them probably not. So you're going to have to do something, it's, you can sometimes do the math and figure it out, but sometimes it doesn't work. Do you want me to add that, FOMO, what you got there?
Yeah. One of our viewers shared this with me. So I'm not promoting this, just so you guys know, but I am looking into it. I'm reaching out to Upsy. So what I noticed was interesting is they specifically claim that there is burn-in coverage right here, and it's not an additional fee. I guess it's part of this package. So it's obviously comparable, if not cheaper, to Geek Squad, and they're comparing themselves to Best Buy and Square Trade, right? So
those are good companies to compare yourself to. So
So here's the question I have is, okay, well, this company is obviously a startup, and my number one question is, okay, who's your underwriter? If you go under, there's that, right? There's no coverage at all. So LG is not going to go under. Best Buy, unlikely to go under. And Square Trade, right? And they also share who their insurer is, so that you guys reach out directly to the insurer and so forth. And I looked throughout the Upsy website. I could not find any additional information who I would contact in the event Upsy disappeared, because you need to know who that insurer is. So as soon as I can get a hold of Upsy, and if you guys are watching, reach out to me. I've tweeted them, private message, say, hey, guys, I want to get you on the channel, because if you guys can really bring us confidence about this whole burn-in coverage, a lot of gamers would pay a couple $100 just for that peace of mind. And we'll see, because they're actively writing in their screen burn-in is covered, right? So, and if this is something that gamers out there are interested, let me know, and we'll see if Upsy, if this will drive some interest to their service. Now, again, haven't spoken to them, but it's interesting that they specifically cite burn-in, and Square Trade does not have it. Best Buy does, and now they do. So what does that mean?
Absolutely. It's cool. It's interesting. And I also, while everyone's thinking about it, can you guys make sure you hit the like button on this video?
Oh, yeah, like.
It will help more people see it that may not be the normal people on this. So, if you don't mind, go ahead, hit the like button real quick. I'm sure if you guys want to be subscribed to our channels at this point, you are, or you probably wouldn't have found this. So subscribe to all of us. Feel free to do that. And I'm going to get back to JCino here. I'm going to move that for a second, FOMO there. Last stream made me cancel my Best Buy order. Fortunately, I did a quick pivot and had an option. I feel much more at peace. So now I want to know what that quick oh, here we go. Wait, what is this? LG at Thunder Sprint? I don't know what that means.
I think he was responding.
LG G1 responding to somebody.
Yeah.
I just purchased the feet. That's good, but I'm trying to figure out what he purchased. What did you buy? Let's see. I'm going to keep going down.
I think he ended up buying the same TV, but at Value Electronics.
Oh, cool.
To ensure that he doesn't get the nightmare delivery you did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the good thing is, I'll tell you what, I bought it. I bought it from Waltz TV, and the good thing is that they're taking care of everything. So I don't have to, obviously if you need your TV sooner than later, and that's a problem, shipping can be just as important as anything else, or it can delay you, and time can be just as important as anything else. So it would suck if that was the only one. And so now I couldn't do my review or anything. Like, fortunately for me, I have two of them. We got one. It's good. But yeah, you don't want to have a 50% issue with your TVs, having it like one of two show up broken. So that's good that you got your TV figured out. So the C1 83-inch is $5,800 and the A90J is $8,000. Do you really feel that the Sony is worth $200 or $2,200 different, and why? And I'll start, but you guys can talk about this too. I mean, I think that the physical differences are that it has a heat sink, and that it is, the heat sink is the main thing. And then the other thing is that it has a pretty nice speaker system inside the TV itself. So I think those are main differences, right? So it can get brighter and it's a Master Series OLED, so it comes calibrated as well. So I don't know if that's worth $2,200, but I chose it because I don't game as much as most people that would want the C1 may game. And I think that Sony in general looks a little better than the C1. So I like it. I mean, I think that the C1, G1 are better at upscaling and display than they were just last year. So I think it's a lot closer. But what do you guys think about these two? I mean, obviously it's tough to justify it being worth $2,200. Who can say?
Right. I was dealing with that exact question, but for me, not even the justification, it's your use case, right? The C1 83-inch, I look at it as a large OLED TV. The largest OLED TV you can get is the 83-inch C1. The Sony A90J is not just a large OLED TV. You're paying for a large OLED TV with an XR processor. If you enjoy your movies and you want that same XR processing effect on a larger screen, that's what you're paying for. And for those who, this is not a budget buy, right? You're like, oh, you know what? I'm kind of weighing the pros and cons. If you're doing that, get the C1 83-inch, because clearly you shouldn't stretch yourself to pay that much. But if it's more of, okay, I have $8,000 to spend, but I don't want to overspend. If $5,800 gets me there, I would spend the $8,000, because the $5,800 doesn't get you there. It gets you something different. Not to say it's bad, but the $8,000 is getting you the movie theater XR the way Sony wants you to see it. Now, if you like that, that's perfect. If you don't like that, you want dead accurate, exactly as what the Blu-ray disc is telling you, get the C1, because it will tell you exactly what the Blu-ray disc is telling you. I think in our discussion with John Reformato, right, and the C1 tells you what it is. The Sony has a lot of editorializing and makes it attractive. It's very cool, right? For movie watching, it just pops more. And that may not be what is in the actual creator's intent. But for me, enjoying a movie is more than that. So I would go with the 83-inch A90J because of that use case.
And for me, I had the 77 A80J and now the 77 G1. And a lot of people make a big deal about HDR and new 4K movies and stuff, but I have 500 Blu-rays that aren't HDR or 4K. I have a lot of older shows that I like to watch. Like I'm still watching through Smallville on Hulu. And when it comes to older stuff, lower resolution, SDR, that XR processor really does make a huge difference. Just watching Smallville on Hulu, it's a low quality stream, but there's a lot of noise. You don't see, the dimples in faces and, pores and hairs and stuff on the LG like you do on the Sony. Like the LG gives you all the flaws and everything that's in that image, the way that it was created, whereas Sony is smartly taking some of the bad stuff away and then adding some more good stuff to it.
That's interesting. I never thought of it that way. Hey, that guy has a full set of hair now.
So, yeah, and I think that the LGs look better definitely this year though. I think it looked. I had the C10 and the C1 next to each other, and that's one thing I noticed is that the upscaling looked better on this year's TVs. I think that processor is doing a better job too. I didn't notice as much noise on that either. Of the OLEDs that I had up at that time, the A90J, the C1, and the C10, you could see each OLED with the noise reduction was better. Like the A90J looked really, really good. The C1 looked pretty damn good too. And the C10 had the most noise, and they were set to the exact same settings. So, yeah. So I think, and, I think for the people that are buying the A90J, it's going to be, rationalized and worth it because there are benefits, and it is the brightest OLED this year in the US, at least, if not, I think the Panasonic might be a little brighter this year or whatever, but Master Series OLED calibration, the heat sink, spectacular highlights, XR processor, really good sound. So yeah, I mean, it's probably again, if you buy a Lamborghini, it's probably not $100,000 better than a Porsche, but people are buying the Lamborghini because it's a Lamborghini. And so there you go. And to Dave's question, sorry, I think it might've been Don's question. Let me check. He had asked me, the speakers sound quality distance to the wall. I don't think that so the only thing that comes from the back of the TV that would matter from the distance to the wall is that there's subs behind it. So the sound is coming from the front of the screen. It's coming out from the screen itself. So it vibrates and the sound comes directly out of the front of the screen. So that's the great part about the Sony is you can have it on a mount and the sound doesn't change. The C1, you have it on the stand and it bounces down and comes out at you from the bottom of the screen. But if you put the C1 on the wall, it goes straight down and they have a setting to help, but it's still shooting that sound out of the bottom of the TV. So whatever you're trying to do, the reality is the sound is not coming at you from the same direction. Like the A80J, A90J, the sound comes out at you and it sounds like it's surround sound. We have the 83 only like 8 feet away from us and sound is all around you. It's pretty cool. So I'm stoked about it. And they say on Sony's website that it's similar to like a 5.2 like Atmos setup, 5.2.1 or 5.1.2, where it kind of gives you simulated surround. Again, it's just TV speakers, but it still sounds good.
I think it sounds great, but I never got the surround effect. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, you had a 55?
65?
Yeah, the 65 A90J?
I have the 65 A90J, but then it's about maybe, say, 22 inches away from the wall. I don't know if it has to be closer to the wall.
No, I don't think that. I think it's just more about how close it is to you. I mean, it's not necessarily surround sound. I just noticed that when sitting in front of even my 65-inch, it's kind of throwing sounds to different areas. Like I'm hearing, like I feel like I'm hearing sound that's outside of the perimeter of the TV, you know? So kind of like you'd get if you had surround speakers. But no, I mean, it's not like behind us or anything. But it's the 83-inch is pretty impressive how loud it is. So Christopher Taylor got a TV. Look at this. I know Christopher Taylor's been asking us questions before. A 77-inch C10 open box, Best Buy, $2,500. Only 34 screen hours. And being a beta member, I don't know what a beta member is, but 2-year warranty for free. Also clean panel. That sounds like a win, man.
Wow.
Because at its best, I think that C10 was $3,000, unless you were a Sam's Club member over Prime Day. And you had it for $2,000. Right? You got it for like $1,800, whatever it was. But $2,500 is a good deal. I mean, that's the price that's the price of the 65-inch. So you got,
and it's not going to last even at the at 3,000. It's not going to last very long. Yeah. It's a very good price
because that TV will run out before they're going to keep doing. They'll do some sales, but $2,500, awesome with a warranty. Boom. Solved. And then having that warranty on an open box, you never know. Something could have happened internally that you didn't know. It could have dropped the TV or something at home. Now you're covered, so you don't have to worry about it. So awesome deal, Christopher Taylor. Glad that you got that. So I was going to ask you before, Classy, you watched anything on the new TV? I know you've been doing a lot of good videos. People should check out his channel and check out his videos. But what I saw you were talking about kind of like the detail level. What's interested you so far about having this G1?
Actually, pretty much all just gaming stuff up to this point. So tomorrow I'm going to have a stream trying to go over all of the niche gaming questions that people may have or things that they want me to test. So I'm going to have Series X, PS5, Switch. I'm also going to break out some classic consoles, the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, N64, and have those all modded to component, going through the receiver and see how it handles, classic stuff.
That's some upscaling for real.
That's a lot of upscaling, right?
Yep. So, all that stuff will be coming soon. But tomorrow we'll have a stream just talking about, the best gaming TVs for specific scenarios, whether it's the Samsung, the Sony, the LG, QLED, OLED, whatever. Haven't really gotten around to watching any movies yet, just been too busy. And like I said, I kind of just watch a TV show before bed and that's it. But I will say that when it comes to the, Sony's reality creation and all of their settings, there's not as many settings on the Sonys, but you can see them making an effect easily. LG, I can go from super resolution off to high and see no change.
I've noticed that too. It's like an empty toggle to make you feel good, right?
Yeah.
What does this do?
And you said, what about so far? How do you feel about it? If regarding what you've watched, the content you've seen on the G1?
It still looks really good. I mean, it's a little bit better than the C1. The reason that I picked it over the C1 is mainly to do with SDR, really bright games. People look at the big number, the 10% window HDR highlight number being 50 nits higher, and it doesn't matter. It's the 100% window, the 75% window. Those windows is what that makes the G1 brighter. So if you watch a lot of Pixar movies or something that's just very bright overall, that's where you see the brightness difference. So that's why I went with the G1 over the C1 plus the warranty. And then when it comes to versus the A80J, I do like the A80J better for picture quality, but doesn't have the gaming features that I now need.
You bring up a good point that a lot of people overlook is sometimes you're in SDR and you don't even realize it. So you're saying Pixar, right? Even though technically it's HDR, but the whole scene is so bright that if your TV doesn't maintain a good SDR performance, let's say, it affects that HDR movie because the whole animation is so bright inside out, right? It's just, wow.
Well, even in HDR, the HDR full screen on a C1 is 130 nits. It's 160 on the G1 or the A80J or the A90J. It's 160 plus. So, that's a 20-25% brightness difference. And when it comes to, like I said, really bright scenes, like a lot of Marvel movies when they're outdoors or whatever, the White Room and the Matrix, things like that, they're going to be brighter on the G1 than the C1.
Makes sense to me.
And I definitely saw a benefit on the G1 when I had it out in comparison. I have some video footage of all 4 TVs. Definitely SDR and full screen, it was the brightest of the 4 TVs. When I was watching the basketball game, it looked pretty cool. I probably could pull that up. Let me see if I can find. I haven't been using that footage. Let me see if I can find it. You guys keep talking. I'll find the footage.
Yeah. In SDR, the Sony could technically get brighter, but that's where its dimming comes in. It's undefeatable. Whereas LG, you can turn it off.
Oh, yeah. Now you have to go to the service menu to turn it off on the LG, right?
No, it's just the OLED, screen protection settings. That logo dimming feature, it's kind of misleading because it makes it sound like it's only going to dim the logos. But what it's doing is it's detecting logos, and if it detects them, then it dims the whole image. So if you just turn that off, no dimming.
Sorry, go ahead. You guys keep talking. Feel free. I'm just gonna.
All right.
I can't let this. I can't let this go too long because I don't want to get a copyright issue.
You're gonna get shut down.
As long as I can pause it, right? I'm good. If I pause it, okay.
Almost. It just depends. But I was thinking,
this is a commercial part, anyways. Go ahead, FOMO.
I was just saying that sometimes the content that we test and do reviews on, if you have completely different content, you have to let us know specifically, hey, I don't watch a lot of, whatever movies I put up there, Greatest Showman or Lucy or whatever, but I do watch a lot of, and then you list the kind of movies you watch. At least we can give you an idea of what to expect, because oftentimes what you'll get out of that movie, that experience is totally different than what we love about what we see in the movies that we're watching. So let's say Black Crushing, right? If I don't test content that has a lot of scenes where black crushing is an issue, I may not even mention black crushing as an issue, but you watch a lot of movies where black crushing becomes a problem, it may end up being that, oh man, that's terrible. This TV is the worst TV I've ever had. But that's because your use case is so unique to you. So a lot of the reviews, you have to make sure to pay attention to your use case and match it to what they're saying. But if they don't even tell you their use case, like, oh, this is a great TV because the colors pop. And that doesn't help anyone, right? Because the colors pop on all new TVs, really. The question is, was it popping SDR? Was it popping HDR? Was there blooming around the colors popping, right? So the more we know about your use case, the easier it is for us to guide you to the TV, because each TV is designed differently. It's designed to bring out a certain strength, but then that means it compromises something else. You cannot do everything unless it's a micro LED from the future. So that's something to keep in mind.
This is the so on the which ones were you? Do you know which ones are which here, Classy? Did I already give this away before in a different chat? I'm not sure.
I believe you did, but was it the
LGs?
I won't make you.
Yeah, I won't make you guess again. But yeah, the G1 is in the top right. So that's, this is SDR basketball game. It just, I really liked the 2 Sonys and how they looked. They just looked really clean. And I liked now the G1 it needed to have some green pulled out of it. It was too green. We had to do some calibration on the G1 a little bit. It was the least accurate of the 4 TVs. So on the upper left is the A90J, the bottom left is the A80J, and the bottom right is the C1. So as FOMO was just saying too, all these TVs would be they would be just fine. Anyone would be happy to have these TVs because all of them look good, and you can mess with the live color on the Sonys, and you can, the LGs come a little, they look great, and you can, add color to it too, or you can do whatever you want to do. There's all kinds of things that you can mess around with, but all these TVs look great, but you can see the G1's brighter in the SDR here, and you can see it's just, this is also the mode. I mean, I can't remember exactly what mode it is, but ISF bright is just brighter, I think, than the custom mode on the Sony. But even when I put the Sony in like Vivid, you can't get it to be as bright as these LGs and SDR. But I think the SDR measured higher on the LG TVs. Is that correct, Classy?
I'll have to check
I'm
after
pretty
I get
sure.
this broken in. I haven't measured that. And it's also dependent on size, not only in terms of the brightness, but the color temperature and the white point that they're using is different on different sizes.
But I mean, like here you can see, the C1 looks a little brighter. Sometimes the screens are moving too, but for the most part, I think people would be pretty happy with any of these TVs. And you can see that the G1 on the top right is a little bit, just the color is a little off. But besides that, they're good TVs, So I'll pull that away. We have a thing from Stealth Dragon for Life. Thank you, FOMO, for the advice on the QN9875 at Best Buy. $27.99, great deal. Yeah,
that is a great deal.
That's a great price.
That's a great price.
Just talked about someone getting a C10 from last year for $2,500. I mean, this is a new Samsung QLED for $2,800. That originally wasn't that almost $4,000 that TV, or how much was it? Or is it $3,600?
I think it was 36 or something. I mean, all their large sizes, they're dropping, and that's why it's a great time to buy Samsung this year early. Normally, when you buy too early, you really get screwed on the price.
Do you think that the LG Displays opening that new manufacturing plant is a big reason for them to be able to produce so many OLEDs and have it be less expensive?
That's it. That is the number one reason. That is absolutely the reason, and it's how all the other OLED TV brands, right? Philips, Panasonic, they're all able to adjust their prices down with LG because they're getting it at a lower price. So definitely. What's crazy though is the Hisense OLED in Europe is a bit expensive. So I didn't get that. I was like, wait a minute, this Hisense is a little bit premium. No wonder they're not selling in the US. It's the same price as a C1. Like what? So it'll be interesting to hear what our European brothers think of the Hisense OLED. And they call it the A9G, right? To add more confusion. It's called the Hisense A9G. I'm like, oh,
seriously?
Yes. Can you believe that? Like,
now we're going to have to talk about two A9Gs. I mean, we're not going to be talking about the Sony that much longer. It's
so now there'll be a lot of confusion. Yep.
Well, we're going to have to get Rainer on here. I know Rainer, we're going to talk about having Rainer on and get a European perspective from a guy that does some YouTube videos and buys nice technology, who I just want to hear more about his Ambio soundbar too.
Oh, yeah, this is a year for great soundbars. This year and next year, I saw a lot of these companies really upping their soundbar game. I mean, they're premium prices, but the great thing is going to trickle down and it'll be under 500 in no time. So that's exciting.
Cool. Let me get down here. We got a couple other questions. And feel free to, we're kind of all chilling today, so it's a little bit more relaxed. I know I hope it's not boring. I'm sure you guys got good questions. Let us know. Whatever questions you guys have, we'll try to answer as many as we can. So feel free.
And on the topic of your main topic of today, also consider that life throws curveballs. So my dad lives in a duplex upstairs, and he's the one that bought my 85 X900H. And before he did, he talked to his landlord, and everything was good. He said he's going to be there for years. So I can't describe how much of a pain to fit that, because you have to turn it vertically, go in the door, turn it sideways, take it upstairs. It was horrible trying to move that 100+ pound TV that's that size into his apartment, but it was awful. But finally get it up there. 2 weeks later, his landlord says he's selling the house and he has to be out by next month.
Man.
And it's a pain. And you got to think about that. Are you going to store an 85-inch TV box somewhere?
Once you get on the wall, how are you going to take it off and not break it too without three friends helping out, right? Yeah. No, you're right. Unless you are a member of the Best Buy tech support, whatever, they'll do all of that for you for $50. That's why I like it. I totally use that. But yeah, if you're the kind of person that installs a lot of stuff or takes stuff off and you don't want to do it yourself, That is a great deal. The total tech support from Best Buy. I think it's like $250. And
they don't have the calibration anymore though. That's
yeah,
no, they got rid
that
of that.
used to be $50, but yeah, they don't have that anymore. But just installing, like we had an old washer break. We're talking like 12-year-old washer that we didn't buy at Best Buy. And I call him, hey, you guys fix washer? $50? Like $50? Yeah, and you pay for the parts. And he did it. He came by, checked it out, wrote him a check for $50, and then the parts came later. He came back and installed the part all on that one $50 visit. I'm like, how do you guys make money? He goes, I don't know. I just get paid, but you call, I come. I'm like, I need to call you guys more often. So yeah.
I think they didn't have enough calibrators in the clock. They just weren't getting enough calibrations. A lot of people just don't get their TVs calibrated. So I think it just wasn't worth it for them there. But yeah, question here from France. Is there a huge difference between the G10 and the G1? Do you want to go for that? Classy, you want to start off? I mean, you had probably an option to consider the G10, right? I mean, besides the fact that it wouldn't be great to start reviewing a TV that's a year old, but what other things were you concerned about if you were to do that?
Well, I mean, the G1 is going to guaranteed have the new panel. It's going to be a bit brighter. It has the newer processor. The upscaling is better. You know, I've had the C10 and the C1 side by side. Watching, 1080p Blu-rays, you can see that upscaling difference. And then wasn't there something else? The ATSC 3 tuner was on the G10, wasn't it? Or is that true, for the G1?
No, I don't
only the
think
G series.
It's on the G series.
So it was on the G10, yeah.
Yeah, G10 and G1.
I think it was last year, yeah. So that's not,
And the motion,
that's still something to think about.
Oh yeah, the motion.
If you're sensitive to motion, big improvement to the motion on the 1 series this year.
Yep.
That's the only reason I'd upgrade, by the way. I think everything else is great, but the motion, I need that improved motion.
Yeah, you'll also get an extra, year of updates and support. And I think the near black handling is better this year.
It's like 90 degrees in here. I'm trying to open the door, but when I open one door, the other one shuts, and I'm trying to like balance it, and the dog just came in, so I'm like, get out of here. But it's like cooking in our house right now. Can't complain. It's still only like 88 degrees, 85 degrees in San
People
Diego.
in Seattle are like 110 degrees in Seattle, man. Well, I found out why it's so hot up there. Apparently, the mountain range that borders Seattle or just Oregon and Washington and Vancouver, all the snow melted, and so it doesn't reflect the heat. And so the mountain absorbs all that heat, and that heat just drifts down and presses on everything below it, which includes all the cities along the coast in Oregon, Seattle, and Vancouver. And they're saying, well, if every year the snow melts early, you're going to have this every year. This heat wave is going to be a regular thing because the snow that's supposed to be there is no longer there to reflect it. And of course, you get flooding. All the snow's melted early, and like, oh man, wow. Overnight, real estate values just plummeted to the sea.
Ninjician AV, what's going on, man? How you doing? He said similar. It's kind of like an updated C9. So yeah, that's true because the C9 was brighter than the C10. But this 2-year new processor, so yeah, it's definitely a little bit of an upgrade. I like also. How do you like? They're coming out with this new game optimizer. Is it a beta like rollout, or do they roll it out for real?
It's technically rolling out. Some people haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah,
gotcha. But they put out, and you said it looks more like a gaming like bar than a Samsung one. Looks a little bit more kind of like a marketing one.
The Samsung one I think looks nicer. The LG one is more gamery, but it's also, I don't think they copied Samsung. I think they just pulled it from their monitor division because they've been doing that on the monitors for a while.
Well, you would wonder why they didn't do that before, right? I'm like, wait a minute, why did you reinvent the wheel?
Yeah. By the way, Dave, it's only 103. I heard it was like 120 last week. My in-laws that came out here had to drive through Phoenix, and they were like, it's like 115 or whatever. It was like super hot last week. So yeah, it's only 103. That's good to know, Dave. And I wonder how's that. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, it's super hot in El Centro near 5 hours east of San Diego.
Yeah, we're only like, I mean, I'm literally like not less than 5 miles from the ocean, maybe like even 3 miles as the crow flies, but it's 10 degrees hotter here, and then once you get at the beach, when you go from like where the roads are at the beach to actually the beach, it's another 10 degrees. So it's like it can be sunny and 85 here, and by the time we get down to the beach, it's like 68 degrees and cloudy and windy, and it's like cold. But you can't see the marine layer from here, so you don't know. You have to look on the old map.
Yeah, it's been like during the day or early afternoon, like 95, 97 the last 3 days, and then we just get hit with this huge rainstorm. It drops 20 degrees. So then it's just been very humid too from it.
Is that the same rainstorm? Is that the same storm that brought the flooding to Detroit happening up there?
I don't know. I was driving through what's called Valley View earlier, and there's this creek that was pretty overflown, and they had to close the bridge. So,
you're in Cleveland, or you're outside of Cleveland?
I'm about 40 minutes south of Cleveland, but I drive all over Northeast Ohio for work.
Northeast Ohio, yeah. So my in-laws are from
Ohio,
like the Cincinnati, or between Cincinnati and Dayton. That's where they live. And then we have family in Pittsburgh as well. My wife's originally from Baltimore and then Pittsburgh. So she grew up her high school years in Pittsburgh, PA. So we're Steeler fans and Packers fan because I'm from Wisconsin. So I know are you a Cleveland Browns fan, or you're not a football fan?
No football for you, right, Classy?
Yeah, no sports.
You got to have some family that are either wearing Cleveland.
If I have to pick something, right? I'm going to say Packers because my uncle is like the biggest Packers fan.
I like it. See, classy's even better in my book. Keep it classy. Yeah. I like it. He's not just saying that for me. I didn't tell him I'm a Packers fan before today. So that's funny. So here we are. The classic C1 or A80J, PS5, watch basketball, football, stream other content leading to our A80J. Is that the right choice? So does he have a PS5, or you play PS5? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I guess that's because most of the things that are available on the C1 aren't used on the PS5. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the PS5 doesn't have VRR, and the PS5 and the A80J will act like they have ALLM together. And I imagine by the time the PS5 gets VRR, that's when the TVs will as well. So that's why it just kind of, if they go together well.
Yeah, my so the A90J is not supposed to have the ALLM yet, right? I mean, it turned to game mode when I turned the PS5 on. It automatically turned to game mode. So it just does that with the PS5, but it wouldn't do that with the X Series X that we think, right? I could test it, but I'm not sure. There's
one or two people on AVS forum that somehow got a screen to pop up that literally says ALLM on it with the Xbox. Somehow they got it, but no one else has been able to like reproduce it. I tried it when I had the A80J, couldn't reproduce it. So I don't know if that's a bug and it's still in the process of being worked on, and somehow it got leaked into their update or something. I'm not sure, but it's coming. Supposedly December.
Yeah, maybe they're testing it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, the fact that other MediaTek TVs have it, although it's not perfect, means that it's doable to a certain degree, right? Hisense has it, Panasonic has it, but they have their own limitations and issues. So other TV makers have it, but I don't think they have it to the same level of execution. Maybe Sony wants to have it executed perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And someone had asked me, so anyways, I guess let me answer the question, because that's what we got here for, with that cool Knicks background. I like that. I chose the A80J in my video by a slim margin. I think they're both good TVs, but the A80J looks great with the PS5. When I was playing games, I thought the C1 looked a little better. I just thought the color was a little bit more rich. For gaming in game mode, I just felt like the A80J was a little bit more washed out, in my opinion. But for the most everything else, I would say the A80J and the processing, the XR looks like it would be better for me, just by a small degree. What do you guys think?
Was that before you had Ninjishin calibrated? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think game mode on the LG may default the color gamut to native, whereas Sony defaults to auto, and it technically should be at auto for both. So that may be why the colors look different. And LG's native color gamut is not as explosive color as Sony's or Samsung's. So just by looking at it, it may not look off. Whereas like Samsung, if you have it on native and it's an SDR game, it will look like super neon, like it looks bad because it's just too much color. But that could explain, why you thought that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't I didn't have live color on. I thought that the settings were the same for the most part. They were similar, but it was before I was messing around with that before calibration. There wasn't much done. I mean, they weren't, yeah, as he said, the calibration was just white point. There wasn't much else done. But I had to reduce the black level on the A90J to like 38 to get it to look as rich in the, I mean, I messed around with a lot of different settings to try to get it similar, but you know, I think that the LGs for gaming, like, look amazing. They look great. I think if you had a choice to pick a C1 over any LED, in my opinion, I would take the C1. I think maybe the A80J, maybe the A90J, and maybe the G1 are the only TVs in the world that look better, but they're really good TVs. So I would probably still take the A80J, because if you're streaming basketball specifically, the fast motion, the content where it has to upscale and work on the motion all at once, I think the A80J is going to look better. But the C1 isn't far behind.
So you saying that about the black level, having to turn it down, that tells me that there was something between whatever console you were on was in a different dynamic range for the HDMI black level than the TV. So, you know, if you have HDMI, you know, limited or versus full, there was a mismatch.
That could be.
That has to be it.
Yeah, and also it was with a splitter too. You know, I'm splitting the signal from the two TVs. So but there's always, you know, and I try to make sure I cover my bases when I'm doing these reviews. But I mentioned it in my review. It looked a little bit more washed out. It was very minimal. You know, I'm very picky, but I was in a dark room, and so my eyes were ready to see all the detail. And I thought the C1 did a good job of showing like the shadow detail, while it was also just really nice looking color. So I don't know. I liked it a little better in game mode, but yeah. So anyways, I don't know what S Brooklyn should choose, but I think we all agree. Go ahead.
Isn't the A80J, I mean, now that everyone's had a chance to see it and compare it, isn't it more like the G1 in terms of, right? So the C1, you're really looking at A80J versus G1, because the C1 can't compete with the A80J outside of gaming generally. Even SDR is not going to be as bright as the A80J. The G1 could beat the A80J, but the C1, technically, its gaming is its biggest thing. So if S Brooklyn focuses on sports and other stuff, streaming and content watching, I think the A80J would be a phenomenal TV, given that that's what it does very well. And the PS5, right? It's a non-issue. It should work well.
Yep.
So I take the A80J.
Yeah, same here.
And this being installed, is it possible to install a 55-inch C1 G1 on stand alone? I mean, I'm confused. That's why I put this question up here, because both of them can have feet or stand. They both have VESA mounts, so you can put either one of them on a mount on the wall that's not the one that comes with the G1, and you also could put it on a universal, like, pedestal kind. I don't like those necessarily. I don't really like those. I like the ones that are like, you know, an entertainment center with like the spine, and then it has the ability to mount it if that's what you need. If it works for people, then that works too. But that's a little confusing question. On, you can of course put them both on stands. The G1 doesn't come with the feet. Some people said that there were feet in their box. I don't understand. I've opened a couple different G1 G10s and there was no feet in there. Did you get any with yours, Cecil? Feet?
Is it on the bottom of the box? Maybe.
No, I've never seen it. Yeah, I've never seen it. But some people were saying that they got them, so I don't know. That's interesting. So maybe the Popak will let us know. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Oh, can one person install it? Yeah, of course. I mean, a 55-inch, you can. I lift TVs like from the back, and I have it out in front of me, and I put the stand on like this. I bring it toward me and put it on a mount. So, or the feet, if you're talking about the feet, you can put them on feet by yourself, lay it down, stand it up. You can do it with one person. I install 77-inch TVs by myself, so can definitely do that.
Yeah. And I like to just leave the foam on, lay it down, and then lift up the bottom end and shove the bottom of the foam under the TV, lift it up, and then you can put the stand on that way too.
Cool. This is a good question too while we're talking. Rick Shaheen, am I getting notifications late? I just got the notification for new Stop the FOMO video getting posted.
Well, I pre-schedule it. I schedule it ahead of time sometimes. So
yeah,
whenever it comes up.
But what I'm saying, what I want to answer this directly to people, because they don't, YouTube doesn't always send the notifications out for the same, so everybody. So if you're setting if you have like you're set on my channel and you're notified, you have to click on all on the notifications, and you have to click on youtube.com or YouTube. You have to click on all for notifications for the entire YouTube channel or your app. So if you have your app set to all notifications for all the channels that you're subscribed to, and you go on their channel and you're notified for all of their videos, then you should get it instantly. But sometimes because YouTube wants to, have traffic in good hours of the day for their for their advertisers, they'll actually notify some people and then notify more people. And so it's throughout the day that they notify. Like I got notified for Classy's video, like I think a few hours after he posted it too, like in the afternoon. So I always have to click back on, and Rick, you should do this. Click on that video and then you can see it was uploaded 4 hours ago. Then just know that you're either not getting the notifications exactly as you should. Maybe you can get them faster, or that's just the way YouTube is, sending them to you.
And sometimes, and this is on the creator, is if I put out 4 things and they've already notified you of the 4 things in a 24-hour period, that's it. I'm locked out of giving any more notifications until that 24 period moves to the next. Oh, okay. We can add another notification. So I didn't know this. So I used to put up a bunch of stuff and then wait, how come people aren't getting notified? Because I put too many things posted in a 24-hour period. YouTube cuts it off after the 4th one. So we have to pace our notifications out. And sometimes YouTube will just push it out later. So that's why I oftentimes schedule, like I'm done with videos, I just schedule it out. Okay. So that way I know that the 24-hour period, you guys will be notified and it's not buried in the YouTube algorithm.
So you actually did just launch a video though, just now. It just launched.
Did it? Yeah,
I think it did, because people are saying, like, I just looked online myself and I see your video says 6 minutes ago.
Man.
So yeah, so there was a video just out. So
that's crazy.
So you guys aren't. Yep, Rick, you're not. It's not crazy. I'm glad I explained all that for not. But no, he did. He did just launch your video, so no big deal.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's funny. I told Classy you should launch your videos early, because it's better. The earlier the better in the morning. Give people
it should be. Maybe it's supposed to be at 3:30 in the morning or something, man. That's crazy.
No worries. It's all good. Go ahead. What were you going to say, Classy? Were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Let's see. What other questions you guys have? Feel free to ask questions. Got a couple minutes. Don't have to go on forever today. FOMO, I know you got to leave pretty soon anyways, right?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I think that was my daughter saying, "Where are you leaving, Daddy?"
All right. Here's a good question. Wait for the 75-inch. Wait, hold on. I think he means X95J. I was getting confused. All right. Here's a good question. It's a good question from Dave. I appreciate it. Should you just get the X95J, wait for the X95J, or just get the X950H while supplies last? So we always, I mean, we talk about this a bunch. Actually, yeah, it's a great price right now, but it depends on what you're going to do too, and I suppose what you're going to watch. I had just mentioned that the X950H is great for everything pretty much, except in my opinion, like the HDR movies where it has the widescreen bars, and so the dimming can be kind of like, you can see some of the dimming issues are blooming into the widescreen areas. But if you're in a brighter room or watching full screen, SDR, things like that, I think both of them are great TVs. But what do you guys think about the price and all that?
Okay. So part of the deal with the X95J is no one knows what it looks like yet, but there's a lot of promises about improvements. So it's going to be a premium. It's releasing in July. You're paying max price for it. I would love to get the X95J, but next year at this time where you get the full discount. So the 950H will be as cheap as it's going to be until it sells out. I mean, $2,000. And if you're in a bright room, that 950H is great. Now, if you're in a darker room, you're not going to like the lifted blacks and some of that blooming. So use case wise, if you're in a dark room, I'd wait for the X95J to see how it goes.
Yeah, I would just add that if you need HDMI 2.1, then you have to go with the 95J because the 950H doesn't have it.
Nope.
Yeah, and I knew that, but I forgot, and that's why there's 3 of us. See, boom, we all answered.
I mean, that's pretty much what you're paying for on top of minimal. improvements in picture quality, most likely. So.
But what was the X90J is brighter than the 900H of last year, right?
Yeah,
not significant, barely.
Barely, can't really tell.
Really? Yeah, I didn't. I still haven't gotten my hands on the X90J. I imagine I will have the same kind of issues that I had with some of the other TVs where all I can see is blooming, and so that kind of frustrates me on a TV that's pretty expensive. It's not cheap,
You bring up a good point about the 2.1 though. Everyone needs to know that 2.1 only brings one thing to the table. 2.1 by itself isn't an upgrade per se. It's because you want to game 4K 120 10-bit. But if you don't game ever or game 4K 60, you're fine with it. You don't need the 2.1 because I have a lot of people asking, but it does have 2.1. I'm like, are you planning to game? No. Well, don't worry about it because regular 2.0 gives you full Atmos. I mean, anything you need to watch movies and content streaming, it does it just as well because it has eARC, right? Regular 2.0 has eARC. 2.1 gives you the higher bandwidth for 8K gaming if you have an 8K TV and 4K 120 10-bit HDR. That's it. That's all it adds to the table. And a lot of people don't realize that.
Cool. Here's a good question. Any word on 77-inch G1 availability? You have this TV, so what was this? What is there an issue with it, or is it widely available now on Best Buy?
It as far as I know, about a week and a half ago is when it finally popped in stock. I haven't really seen it leave stock since, but I don't know if their site is, within the 250 miles or whatever, because I've seen other people say that they aren't seeing it. So it should be there. It might just depend on your region.
San Diego, $42.99. Deliver. You can pick it up. You can. Yeah, so here it says that you can order now and pick it up as soon as July 6th at local stores, and I can get it shipped here as soon as July 3rd. So, yeah, so it's widely, so that's the California. It comes from Ontario. We have a distribution center for LA and San Diego and Ontario. That means that all of our local areas have it. So it looks like it's available. Where are you, RJ? I wonder, what city you're in or what country you're in, because that may be the issue. Because here we got a guy right here. Yes, I finally scored one. Jonathan. I like his picture. His picture makes it look like, in action.
He's
thinking about something. He's definitely thinking about something. Got it from a week and a half ago. So there you go. That's cool. Cool. What was this? Oh yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Rick. Yeah, it's definitely one of the things that I dive into a lot and think about is the metrics and analytics and stuff on YouTube. I mean, we're doing YouTube, so I might as well learn how to do it well. That's the whole point. So obviously I want to make good videos, and that's the number one. But after that, it's figuring out, how to make the videos be seen by the most amount of people, and hopefully they enjoy them, What's up, Dave? How's it going? Is Best Buy Geek Squad a good option for wall-mounted installation since I'm in Arizona and I can't hire B? That's funny.
I only use Best Buy for me. I only use Best Buy Geek Squad for my wall mounting because they're fully insured. Yeah,
you want to make sure they're insured. I still don't really care for that. I mean, they're expensive. They don't do power. They don't do actual electrical outlets. So what I always tell people from my business perspective is that I can do the same work that they can do and more for the same price. So when we do an installation, normally it would be like $250 or so for a full installation, including electrical outlet behind the TV and running the wires inside the wall. I have discounted mounts. We have, HDMI cords for $20 on hand. So I would say go on Yelp, and I would find someone that has a good online presence. Ask if, the owner themselves installs, or if someone's experienced, if you have someone just sending out texts and they're not going to be accountable, it's not as good. But that's basically what Best Buy does, is they have a bunch of techs getting paid by the hour. In my opinion, I'd rather have someone that is a business owner that's going to be, really concerned about the quality of their work for every job because their life depends on it, their livelihood. I think they do a better job, and you can find someone locally who is, that has 100 reviews and has 100 pictures on their Yelp profile. And you can see that they're getting 4.5 or better out of 5 stars on every review. So that's what I would do. I think you can find better quality, but you can always rely on larger companies. I know Amazon, though, they literally, I have never worked for Amazon because I actually worked for Amazon way back in the day in like 2008, 2009, when they had a third-party company handle their installations. Or actually, I'm sorry, it was an advertising company. So I could bid like I could on Google, and we could bid for jobs. So I could pay $5 a click and I would get ranked as the #1 installer in San Diego or whatever. Then they went to where they take the money in-house, and then they would sell the job out for the lowest, whoever would buy it for the cheapest amount. So you could put that I can do this job plus the power outlet. People were doing it for like $99. So there's guys going out doing a job that takes 2, 3, 4 hours for $99. And now you're into this. Okay, we're literally, it's like, the cheapest person that can do the job is doing the jobs for Amazon. And that's, they get decent reviews, but I'm telling you, there's no chance that they are doing as good of a job as someone you pay a couple $100 to. So,
and the caveat to my suggestion was I didn't even realize that it costs that much, because the reason I use Best Buy is, as you know, I'm the total tech support member. So I pay $250 a year, but all my installs are $50. And that includes TV wall mounts. So that's correct. If it was $250, there's no way I'd be paying Best Buy $250 per install if it wasn't for the total tech support. And you guys know how many TVs I have. So it's, for me, it's worth the total tech support annual membership, because then they come in and they could put up like 2 or 3 TVs, boom, boom, boom. And on the insurance side, they broke my Q900TS stand when they put it up. And so they took care of ordering. They had to order it from Korea, blah, blah, blah. So I knew that if they were to break something, at least they can get the parts. But if it wasn't for me doing this so regularly, I probably would use a third-party Yelp like B. So it really definitely depends on your situation.
Here, this will be a good question here. I'll ask you guys too. He said, watch B's video to see how to do it yourself, which is funny. Let me ask you guys, if you had, I'll ask everyone in the comments, answer please if you can. I want to do an install video of some sort. I want to do it on something that is, it's helpful to people. I did one already on how to hide your wires. So there's an option for me to, again, show people how to hide their wires, possibly using what is called a power bridge. Do you guys know what the power bridge is? Where it's like a power outlet, but what it does at the bottom, instead of tying it into the electrical outlet like an electrician would, it just has an inlet that then plugs into an extension cord, and then that plugs into your power outlet, so you don't have to actually mess with the electrical. So that's one option, is showing people how to install a TV with that in the wall. Or should I do an install video on something else? Like, what else could you guys think of that would be good to show people regarding TVs? Should I do speaker installation in the ceiling? Or I'm trying to think of something that I should do for install. So I'm trying to think.
Hiding wires.
Yeah.
Hiding speaker wires.
Speaker wires.
Whether you're running along the corner and then putting I forgot what those things are, right? Just that little corner, concealer. Right? Mm-hmm. Because this is why wives don't like putting speakers up, because the husbands are unable to hide the wires. It looks bad with wires hanging everywhere. But I think that for me, that would be something that I would want, is, okay, how do I hide the wires? What's the best way to do it, right? And I don't even know. I mean, I just assume the obvious. Well, when you drill a hole, then you crawl in the crawl space. There's got to be a better way to do this. I don't know.
Man, you're bringing not back all kinds of stuff. Yeah,
I am not a handyman. So
yeah,
definitely sealing wires for me, or installing height speakers, whether it's a ceiling speaker, because everyone's doing Atmos, so it could be a speaker on the wall up high, or the actual in-ceiling speaker, because there's always this discussion. Should I put a back box to make it sound better? And there's this whole home theater installation issue. That's why I'm a member of Total Tech Support, so I don't have to deal with it. You guys do this? Yeah. All right, here's $50.
The comments are kind of like here. Speaking a foreign language right now, Maxwell says, I'm speaking a foreign language.
There you go.
Dave says, it's like, I like watching install videos, but I'm picky and this stuff is not my cup of tea. I think I'll hire somebody.
There you go. That's me, right, David? That is totally
exactly. Me. Oh, here's a good one. Bias lighting would be cool. Like, I'm not like an expert at the bias lighting, but I got to get my boy Danny on here. This one of these dudes that I follow on Instagram, because I follow other installers because I love watching how good people do, how good their installation work is. And one of these dudes like always puts bias lighting behind the ones that are like reactive to the sound. So whenever there's like a beat, it's like he's got the entire house bumping when he leaves. All of them have like sweet lighting. He's walking around and they're playing like hip hop music, and it's pretty dope. So I'll have to show some of that. And this another armadillo drilling into my house gives me anxiety.
Me too.
Yeah, I can imagine. But you know what? In here, Jonathan, you got one. Did the in-wall wiring and mount of TV after watching my videos. Came out great, but if I had to do it again, I would hire B. It took 6.5 hours.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes people have called me and they're like, I've been doing this install all weekend and I still have to hire you. And I go there and their walls are just torn apart. And it takes me more time to fix all the stuff that they did wrong than just to do the install myself. So that's funny. And also, what were you going to say? Go ahead, Classy.
Oh, I was just going to share a picture. I just took a picture
you want me to share it?
of my wires. So yeah, that's how I run my wires.
It's pretty good. I like it.
All right.
That's good with the darker wall. You can hardly even tell. That's where did you get that like cover? Where did you get that? And they have different color Amazon, or they have different color wall tracks like that.
There you go.
Yeah, there's white, black, and wood look ones. So I got white ones for the white walls, and then these. And you can see I just hide these behind the TV, so you only see like an inch or two of it below the TV on each side for the power and all the other stuff.
This is genius stuff right here. This is how I do it. You got to countersink that wire so people can't see it. That's hard to do right there because you can't do anything better than that. I mean, there's nothing you can do. The only way you can improve upon that is to cut a hole in the wall up higher by the bracket and then try to put it on the, you can put it on the wall side where it's hidden more, and that's about it. But you did a good job on that, man. It's great. It's good. Oh, this is another one I get a lot too. I know Cyborg GT's in Europe. I know he's in Europe because every European is like, oh, it's easy to install TVs in America where they have paper walls, but out here where we have stone walls, it's much harder. So I know Cyborg. Yep. Brick walls. I want to do a fireplace install where I run it through brick because I'm very good at that. People call me all the time. They're like, no one can install over my brick fireplace, but I actually know how the structure of brick fireplace works, and I'm able to run all the wires up and I actually drill out a brick. I take a brick out and I put a power outlet behind it. It's very different. It takes me like 6 hours to do myself. So that means it would take you guys like a week. Because the first one took me a couple days to do it. So, but yeah, anyways. But these guys, great. I think I'm going to end it here because I know we all got to get going. Classy, what video do you talked earlier, but what's the next video coming out, or what you want people to watch right now?
Well, I just finished the QN90A versus the G1. Both. There's the second part was for gaming. The first part, movies and TV.
The first part was good. I liked it. I didn't see the second one yet.
Yep. And then I have the KS8000 and QN90A comparison coming up, and then a final review on the QN90A. And then after that, it's going to be all G1 aside from like I got to review the Cube and just calibration videos and stuff for a while. But I'm going to be busy this weekend, and then the weekend of the 17th, I'll be in New York. So those weekends will be pretty slow.
Oh, no worries. People don't know how fast we put content out. They just know, there's a video by Classy. There's a video by FOMO. Yeah. Only us think about like, I'm going to miss a weekend of work. I'm going to run behind. But I try to send out, the best feeling in the world as a creator is to get a video ready and have it posted for a week later. So you're on vacation and there's a video about to come out, and then you can just watch the hard work you did pay off. I've done that a couple times. I was in Big Bear on a camping trip, and one of the videos released for my TCL R635, and I was just sitting back watching it work, and I'm like, this is the life, guys. This is the life.
Passive income, right?
Yeah, it can't hurt. It doesn't hurt. How about you, FOMO? What do you got going on besides your daughter saying, "Come pick me up"?
I know exactly what she's saying.
Sorry,
I don't know.
You can go.
I mean, I think I'm going to do something on the Q&A content. I'm talking to. I'm getting a 55-inch U8G. Because I have the 65, and everyone's asking, is the 55 as good as the 65? Like, well, Hisense happened to send me a 55. I'm like, so now I have two Hisense UAGs, but that's good though, because one has significantly less dimming zones than the other. So it would be interesting to see. So as soon as I get the 55 U8G, hopefully sometime this week, I could put up a comparison. And I'm also expecting hopefully a U6G and a U7G. So you kind of have the whole family of Hisense this year to see what the differences are, because I think they're so close together, one to the next in pricing. I'm wondering if they're going to end up cannibalizing each other, because the U7G is sold out. If you guys notice, like, wait, I didn't get a chance to check it out. They're already gone. All the U7Gs are gone within the first week of
Hisense is
launch.
in high demand. It's just their price. It's got to be the price.
But no one's promoting it either. It's not like, hey, FOMO put this great video and use. No one even got to put a video out.
Yeah, they reached out to me and like said they want to do a video, so I didn't even think it was out yet. Yeah,
right. Well, and they reached out to me and tried to send me another U8G. I'm like, dude, you forgot I have one. I still need
maybe
to
that's why. Maybe they're trying to give them all to the influencers, and there's no stock left for the rest of the people.
But there's no U7G reviews out yet. That's the thing. Who are they giving it to, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. So
cool. Well,
it'll be cool. So it'll be a Hisense week next week for me. This week I'm going to wrap up my QN90A impressions. I kind of like good timing, Classy. But I do like the QN90A overall, though. But I think once you have OLED, it's really hard to convince people. If you've never had OLED before, it's a great TV. But Ninjishin, you, me, I have to stop and say, what TV did you have before? And then the QN90A becomes compelling. But otherwise, yeah, it's hard.
Yep. And then tomorrow, like I said, stream about gaming. So watch the gaming comparison between the two, because there are some issues on the QN90A and the G1 for gaming. So just bring all your questions to the stream tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot about that. Gaming.
I will bring my questions to the stream because I have questions.
Yeah. And I'm gonna. What time is it gonna be again? Did you say like 7 your time, 6:30, 7 your time?
6:30. Is that right?
I won't show up a half an hour late this time. I'm just kidding. I'll stop by. I think for a little bit anyways. I got the family's still in town, and also FOMO, you forgot to tell everybody. I know you're like pumping out videos. The nano LED TV coming before the micro LED. So that's his video that just dropped. So
that
everybody that leaves here.
It hit me. It was Eastern time. Like, wait a minute.
Oh, so you thought it was out 3 hours ago or whatever?
Because someone else is supposed to schedule it for me, because they're working, because we promised the advertiser will come out today.
Got you.
But they're on Eastern time. Like, the heck? Is it scheduled?
So, gotcha. So it fooled him. And Dave, Clippers Suns tonight. It's going to be crazy. I'm hoping for playoff P. Sorry, Dave. I'm close enough to LA. I'm a Kawhi fan. He's hurt, but what are you going to do? And what's up to Leanne, West 11 Lane here? We have a lady in the house. Well, I'm sure maybe a couple, but I know Leanne, West 11 Lane. She comes and checks it out. So appreciate that. And with that said, guys, have a great day. Stay classy, Tech, and stop the FOMO. Thanks for joining us.
Stay cool, everyone. Heat waves abound. Bye-bye.
All right. Have a good one.